Hi, welcome back to the Career Corner. My name is Heather Swift, your host, and today's guest is Abby Kohut, also known as Absolutely Abby. Abby, let's talk about networking.
Sure.
That's such a fun topic, and what in your book have you addressed in networking, and what do you feel is the most important aspects of building one's network and how to do that?
Well, I think it's really important, first of all, to be networking, and you just never know when you're actually networking. But going to in-transition groups around the New Jersey area, the New York area, anywhere where you live, they're usually in transition groups, and you go and you meet other job seekers. And what's really important when you're networking is to pay it forward. What I mean by that is when you meet a new person, don't think about what can this person do for me, think about what you can do for them. And so you start asking them questions and try to figure out, who can I introduce this person to? And then you start to connect people together, and all of a sudden people are doing the same thing for you, and that's how it all sort of works.
And the connections start to be made.
Yes.
So do you have any successful stories around networking, how people have met through this, or how all of a sudden, like, right place, right time?
Oh my, yes. I have piles of
It's all in
stories.
the book, yeah.
I have piles of stories. One person, the best story that I have is about someone who is throwing away their trash. Now, when you're throwing away your trash, you normally throw it out and go back to your house.
And
right?
you're not necessarily dressed up in interview clothes.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
However, this person went
I
out.
am, but most people aren't.
So this person went out to her trash, and it was a condominium complex. And so she went and threw out the trash, and there was someone else at the trash at the same time that she was. And instead of just throwing out the trash, she started to have a conversation with that person. It turns out that that person just moved into the condo and started at a new company. And so this person hired her, and she said it was one of her favorite jobs on her resume.
Oh, that's nice.
So even throwing out the trash. But I mean, even simple things like going to get a haircut. I heard a story about a CFO who got a job because he was sitting having a haircut, and he told his hairdresser about the fact that he just was laid off. And she had just heard someone else was looking, so she connected him, and he had a job like 3 days later.
Isn't that interesting?
I
love stories like that.
Me too.
And I had a friend who recently got downsized, and because he had a solid network of people and was just a very open, very social gentleman, he was able to rally and get into competition from a previous company, but he knew the players could sell, that he just wasn't in sales, he was in marketing and many other items that he brought to the table, and it was there. And I do find in my field of transition work also that the people who wait to reach out until they need something are far more behind the eight ball than those that are always looking to pay it forward, are socially responsible, involved from the get-go. Don't you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's a friend of mine who coined it as networking is not just for not working.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that good?
That's very neat.
You can have him as a guest on your show
Hey,
as well.
yeah.
He's fantastic, and he talks about this, and it is so important that once you do get a job, to continue to network, to continue to go, maybe not to in-transition groups, but to go to industry networking groups, go to seminars, things that will help you grow your career and also help you build your network.
I think once someone has experienced being out of work and the emotional ups and downs of that, that they realize the importance of a network, and they do keep that going. And we see the transformation a lot at Lehigh Harrison when people come in and they're trying to figure out, where do I want to go next? And they're like, oops, I was so busy being a mom or a dad or just working my butt off, I never looked up to see what else was going on around me and who else I could be helping or should be connecting to. And they always change after that. They become the best networkers, and they realize that you can't only reach out when you need something. And we all know that person that comes to you only when they're looking for something. And people run the opposite way. So I think that's a great, there's a lot you learn going through transition, but I think that's one big pearl that comes at the end of that experience.
Oh yeah, and I think there's so many social media tools now to keep up with your network.
Okay,
there's really no reason.
You're a Twitter queen.
Yes.
So how do people find you on Twitter? Yeah.
I'm on Twitter as absolutely_Abby.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook as Abby Kohut.
Okay.
And I'm also on LinkedIn with many connections. And on LinkedIn, there's something called a LinkedIn Open Networker, which is abbreviated LION, L-I-O-N. And you can find those people on LinkedIn, and those people can help you build your network because they're all interested in connecting with anybody who connects with them.
Okay.
So what you do is when you're searching on LinkedIn, you put the word lion in the name, and you hit search, and you'll find all of these people with their email addresses in LinkedIn already present.
Okay.
And then you can send them an invitation.
That's neat. I
Yeah.
did not know that about LinkedIn.
Yes.
This is a good factoid to share.
But the thing about LinkedIn, for those people who have never used it, is that it's a way to keep connected with your network, just like Facebook is a way to keep connected. And what I found when I got on LinkedIn and Facebook is I was able to dig up old managers that I hadn't spoken to in years that now I have connections with forever.
That's nice.
And so we can follow each other.
And it's so easy.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
once you
once you're
figure it out,
connected,
yeah,
right?
it
Once
is.
you're connected, you don't separate, so you don't ever lose track of your references anymore.
So what are you tweeting about, or what are you blogging about? Like, how are you coming up with your themes, and how often are you putting things out there?
I tweet usually every day, once or twice a day, and usually my theme is a little tip of the day. And my blog is usually several paragraphs,
Okay.
and I blog pretty much like once a week now. I was blogging almost every day, but my book took up a little bit of time,
Yeah.
so
You can't do everything all the time.
couldn't do
yeah.
blogging and the book, so I
Yeah.
concentrated on the book for a while, but I'm going to get
Okay.
back to blogging almost every day.
Okay, well, I've been on your website, and it's fun. There's a lot of neat things on there.
Thanks.
Now, tell me about your morning wake-up calls. What is that about, and how did that get started?
Sure, well, it's called the Career Wake Up
Career,
Call.
sorry, what career wake-up
Yeah, and I have them in the afternoon and in the evenings sometimes. I haven't tried a morning one, but I probably should since it's called a wake-up call. But what it is people can dial in. It's a free call, and they dial in and they can ask me questions. And they submit their questions before the call, and then I answer their questions live on the phone for about an hour. So I usually answer about 30 questions, and it's fun. And the questions range from about networking, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, job search of any kind, resumes, cover letters, offers, negotiations, salary, whatever.
The whole
people-
gamut, it sounds like all
Everything.
around the full cycle of
Yeah,
job search. Okay.
everything. And so
And this is a free service that you do?
it's a free service. The call isn't free, but the service is free. So
Okay.
it's an hour long, and I do it every 2 weeks.
Okay,
And people can sign up at careerwakeupcalls.com.
well, that's nice.
Yeah, and it's so much fun. I love to talk to people. I usually have a number of people from around the country on the call. And it's great to be able to reach out to people that I can't actually physically meet.
When you're staffing the jobs that your other part of your life, your actual work life, provides to you, are you also interviewing most of these people face to face? A lot of the companies that hire you want you to meet everybody. Is there walking in?
I still do a lot of face-to-face interviews, but I also do a lot of phone interviews. And
Okay.
it's really important when you're on a phone interview to be energetic and passionate.
Let's talk about this. How does
Yeah.
one give good fun?
One should be walking around the room.
Standing up.
Standing up,
Okay.
pacing around the room. One
No
should not be
TV
sitting.
on.
No anything. All
Okay.
the kids should be away.
You can imagine that people are watching their HBO,
Right.
you know, while they're...
The dog needs to be somewhere else. There should be no
Okay.
barking dog.
Okay.
There should be no kids screaming in the background. And you should be walking around and or staring at a mirror and watching yourself smile.
Okay.
And yes, if you're walking around and having a conversation, you will be more energetic because your
Your mind